Hey guys, M2 Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive 2-pack of the Xmen Sentinels. Now this is based off of the arcade game, even though it's not technically branded that way, although I guess the Xmen arcade game would have just been called Xmen, right? But here we have a look at the box. You can see there we got the artwork in that 8-bit type style. 8-bit? 16-bit? I think 8, maybe 16-bit. But there we have that style where it's kind of pixelated, you know, Sentinel there. We get that artwork there on the side of the Sentinel throwing the rock because he does come with a rock, and we get 2 Sentinels. This is a 2-pack. Did it need to be a 2-pack? Probably not, but we got a 2-pack nonetheless. An exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. Sold out pretty damn quick. Did a couple of restocks at like 3 a.m. Pacific time. Nobody was going to be awake for that. People on the East Coast probably got it. Some people that never sleep probably got it. I've missed out on any restocks, but I ordered one for myself, and I was very happy to have it. This is what it looks like inside the package when you pull it out. That's how they have it. Why, again, it was a 2-pack, I don't know. Although, if you're going to army build Sentinels, you're probably going to get more than one. I'm not typically much of an army builder unless there's alternate heads that can make them into different characters than I would. This doesn't have any alternate heads, so we get a 2-pack, and I'm cool with that. We do get interchangeable hands, so they both have fists and then open hands, and then each have blast effects with them, and then we get one giant-ass rock to share between the two of them. So pretty interesting the way they do the packaging, as you can see there, and you have that rock. This rock was first shown on a Hasbro Pulse fan stream where they teased what was going to come in the rock here, and the tease was for the Sentinels. Not a whole lot to the rock. It looks absolutely generic. I wish there was some extra color into it. There's not. We'll get a closer look at that as we go. But let's go ahead and get these Sentinels out of the plastic and take a closer look. Okay, so here are the Sentinel figures out of the package, and they look great, but do they function real well? That's going to be the topic of this review, because I absolutely hate the ankles and feet. Oh my goodness, I thought these things were going to be knocked out of the park fantastic, but they got a big flaw. Like, you can't really pivot those ankles. So if you look at this particular Sentinel, like, he's a little bit wonky because you can't get a whole lot of functionality out of these ankles, and that makes it tough. Like, I can't even get, if I'm being honest with you, I can't even get, like, the feet to really both be flat. Like, if you look, see how wobbly, like, I have to do something like this to where their legs are bent to be able to truly get them. So if they had a good ankle pivot, that wouldn't be an issue. Now, the design of the legs is really what's causing it. Not that they're super hard plastic. They're a little rubbery, not soft in any way, but it just doesn't, you can't get the movement in there for the ankle pivot. And maybe I just need to mess with it more and play around with it more. But it seems to me like an easy no-brainer thing would be just to make the feet to where it could stand both complete. Well, I guess I got them a little bit more flat. So maybe it's not so bad. It sucks that it'd have to be over a minute into the segment where I'm like, oh, the ankles suck. But as we go through the review, we'll keep, you know, seeing how they do. But anyway, total accessories, we get 4 of these blast effects. The difference between these blast effects and the ones that we typically get is usually get like a gradient of the orange into like a yellow. We get 2 different colors here. So the flare out piece is more of a yellow or light orange color, and then we get a more dark orange color for the blast effect. So we get 4 of these, 2 for each Sentinel. Then we get an extra set of hands for each Sentinel. So each one has a pair of fists that come on the figure out of the package, and then each one has a set of open, like, arc reactor type blast hands. So you can peg these in there like so. They each have 2 of these, so you can use them for the blast, or you can use them to hold up that gigantic rock piece there. So, you know, they bust a hole in the ground. Part of it's the street, that's why we get like a flat pavement section, and then the rocky portion. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get in for a closer look at the Sentinel, because the figures look absolutely fantastic. I love what they did with the head sculpts and the face, so let's get right into that and check that out. And let's take a gander at that rock. Again, it's a little dull looking because there's no paint to it. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Sentinel, and look at the head sculpt, the digital print, how they did that on there. It almost has a cell shade type look to it, which makes sense when it comes to like the 16-bit graphics of the arcade game, or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure. It might be 8-bit. You guys let me know down in the comments below. You guys who are in the know. Like, I'm not real familiar with that. But it looks really good. Nice light pink for the head, and then a light pink for the body. As you can see, the knees are a slightly darker color. The knees being a typical, like, different color plastic, as well as the elbows. So those stand out a little bit under some bright lights, but it's nothing too terrible in my opinion. We get a light purple for the lower legs and the feet, the gloves, the hands, not the gloves, but the forearms, the hands, and then here in the center, in the midsection, this armor piece seems to be a little bit darker of a purple compared to this first section here, and that might be because you know, this is painted over the pink, which could be the case, but like in here, you can see the pink is painted over the purple because you could see some of that purple bleed through that pink there, but really not too much of an issue, but not a whole lot going on for the design there. So we get some yellow paint there. These are painted, you know, well enough. As you can see, it's not perfect. Little overpaint in some areas, but nothing too bad. If you look at this one, I got some overpaint like on this one here, but nothing crazy. Paint wise, you know, they're decent, but the two head sculpts are going to be the exact same. So the Sentinels are the exact same. There's no difference, no variation, no additional head sculpt or anything to make one different from the other. These two are the exact same. They're Sentinels. They should be, but I always like some kind of variation. But I don't know that there was anything that they really could have done differently with these. But just so you know, they're the exact same. Now, looking at the rock piece and like street piece, so you have the street pavement here, and that's pretty good. It's a flat surface with some cracks and things like that. And then the rocky surface underneath, it's just not real like detailed. And it's like I don't know if I don't want to say like I'm expecting too much, but if you have it in hand and you look at it, I think it's just because one of those things. Now, under bright light, it just looks very dull. Now, as I'm looking through my viewfinder, it doesn't look as bad because it's a little bit darker through my camera. So it brings out the layers a little bit better, but having it in hand, there's something about it that just seems off. And I don't know if it's just a little too shiny for me, but like a wash over the whole thing really would have gone a long way to bring out some of the details and the sharp edges of the rockiness to it. But something where like the details just seem a little too round, if that makes sense. I think it's something that you just have to kind of have in hand. Something about it just seems a little cheap looking, and again, it's just because of the color, just this flat gray with literally no paint on it whatsoever, but there should have been a wash. But anyway, that's enough of that. The details, let's go ahead and check out the articulation on these Sentinels. Okay, the Sentinels articulation, the heads, they're not really going to be able to look up a whole lot, so that much there. Not really going to be able to look down a whole lot, as you can see there. You get a swivel in there, and I guess there's somewhat of a pivot, I guess. The arm you can get to go straight on out, which is great. You get a full rotation in there. You got the upper bicep swivel, double-jointed pinless elbow. Gives you that much bend there at the elbow. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on those blast effect hands. And then the other ones, the fist, standard horizontal hinge on these guys as well. They are very stiff in there, but you got the standard horizontal hinge. Now, in terms of the body articulation, you got the diaphragm cut, so you can articulate and lean. Tilt, losing my words. Tilt to the left there. You could tilt to the right that much there. Going back a little bit, coming forward very, very little, not a whole lot. You have a waist swivel in there. You do swivel at the diaphragm cut, so it's a little redundant why we would get both of those. So the argument should always be like, if you're going to do that, why not just put like a ball joint at the waist? Because then you could do like a double tilt instead of a double swivel. Like, that doesn't solve anything, right? Just too redundant. Anyway, legs go out that far apart. Sentinel can kick forward that much there. He can go back as slightly, if anything. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee. That bottom knee is very stiff, so take that into consideration. But double joint pinless there. You got a calf swivel at the top of the boot. The foot articulation. You can't hinge it down because of this lower leg portion there. As you can see, you can kind of get one click up, but that's not really doing a whole lot. You're not really making a lot of progress and to be able to do anything or anything in there. So just heads up on that. You do have a swivel at that ankle, and maybe that can come in handy when trying to keep the feet flat on the ground. But I'll have to play around with it some more. But like in terms of ankle pivot, it's just not really going to happen because there's no room for that foot to go anywhere inside this boot. So that sucks. And then at the bottom, you got peg holes there. At the bottom of his feet. So there we go. Our Sentinel articulation. Again, it's difficult to get them to be completely flat-footed. As you can see, a little bit of wobble. This guy's a little bit better, so I think you kind of have to like force it, like I'm shoving it down into my table to force those ankles into place to go flat, and I think that helps. But like it was a little tricky to do that. Like you shouldn't have to force it so much, in my opinion. But you know, that's what I had to do, and I guess it worked. Okay, so here is the video game lineup. I think I saw a poster of what from the Xmen arcade, and it had these particular characters in these particular versions. Although the Dazzler, I don't have the jacket version. I have that retro card. I don't have a second one. I don't think I ever really reviewed that wave. So I don't have that jacket one loose. I have it on card to show you guys. But here, you know, we have a brown suit Wolverine. At San Diego Comic-Con on the last day, that Sunday, Unparalleled Universe Wade actually got the first look at a new Wolverine, brown suit Wolverine, like the reddish brown, not the dark brown, all pinless and everything like that. Now, is that going to be a video game version? We don't know. Is that going to be a Secret Wars version? We don't know. I know there's a lot of rumors out there. I know that there's a leak list out there. I have not personally read through the list entirely. That I used to kind of look into what all of the rumors and leaks and all that was. If that information comes to me, you know, I'll take a look at it. I don't go seek it out or anything like that, so I'm not real familiar with what is on that list. Maybe there's video game versions coming. I don't know what that Wolverine is, but again, a new Wolverine is going to be coming, and it was kind of grouped with these particular characters with these Sentinels, so it could be like a video game version, I would imagine. But as you can see, the Sentinels are much taller. Now, they're not as tall as Juggernaut. They are standing in front of Juggernaut, so it looks like they're a little bit closer in height. But I promise you, they are not the same height as Colossus. I said Juggernaut, didn't I? Colossus. Excuse me. The Juggernaut and Colossus is in a 2-pack. That 2-pack is actually available again in stock at Big Bad Toy Store if you guys need it. I'll have a link in the video description below. But that's why I kept saying Juggernaut instead of Colossus. But Colossus is much taller than the Sentinels, as you could see there. But if you need that Colossus, again, he's in a 2-pack with Juggernaut, and he's in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. But the Sentinels, much taller than them. But they are not the first Sentinels that we've got. We've gotten a number of Sentinels released in the Marvel Legends line. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few different ones. Okay, so here we have Nimrod and the Omega Sentinels there. So that's just a few to kind of come around. So Nimrod, obviously a futuristic Sentinel and much larger than these ones, and the Omega Sentinels being female body, much smaller than these new Sentinels. But wait, there are more. Okay, so here we have the HasLab Sentinel Bastion and the Sentinel Prime female. Now, we do have a male head sculpt, but I never got a second Bastion body, and he's probably ridiculous now, especially after X-Men 97. But I would have loved to have had a second body so I can actually display this particular Sentinel Prime version. But unfortunately, I cannot. But what I can do for you guys here is to swap out that head, and then just kind of display him here and be like, boom, we got 2 Sentinel Primes to go along with these Sentinels. Purple is definitely their color. So the Theta Sentinel, Tri Sentinel as it was called for the Build-A-Figure, as you can see here, this guy is bigger than these particular Sentinels. But very different design, but again, purple is their color. Okay, so I actually could not even fit this guy's head in there, but I have an image that I'll be posting to marvelousnews.com and my Instagram page, where you can see the Titan Hero series from X-Men 97 Sentinel along with these Sentinels. Not quite a little purple on that guy, but lack of articulation, but it's still cool to kind of have. As you can see, it's so tall, you can see like my lights and everything. That's why I hate to do it, but there you go. Okay, continuing the not quite Marvel Legends here. Well, I guess technically this is a Marvel Legends. It's the Marvel Legends Retro 375, the 3.75 inch version of a Sentinel. It was a little bit taller than 3.75 inches, obviously, because Sentinels should be big. So this guy is bigger than these ones. Not a whole lot of articulation there, and as you can see with the design, it's very like very basic design, not the video game design there. But that guy is taller than these guys. So I know people were army building this guy, especially because at one time they were showing up at Ross fairly cheap. This guy was pretty cool. I think he was $25 retail. Not a whole lot to him. The card back is huge for it, and it was kind of cool to have. Like I have it packed away somewhere, but I did keep one loose to kind of have out as a Sentinel to kind of go up against Marvel Legends. But these guys are now here, so these ones make a little bit more sense. Okay, and here are the Sentinels next to, or in front of, the HasLab Marvel Legends Sentinel. This one, there's no way I'm going to get this in frame, so unfortunately, sorry guys, this is just not going to happen. But, yeah, As you can see, they don't even come up to his knee. That's how tall the HasLab Marvel Legends Sentinel is. Okay, so here we have the Retro Iron Man Model 9 from the most recent Iron Man Retro Wave. But as you can see here, my initial thoughts were, like, why would they reuse the same Iron Man legs and make him pinless, but not give Iron Man pinless legs? I was, like, mad about it when they announced the Sentinels. But then at San Diego Comic-Con, I got to see them, and I'm like, oh, they're not the same at all. That's why they could be pinless, because they are completely new. So as much as we think or would have thought, I'm here to tell you guys there is no reuse in the Sentinel compared to the Iron Man figure. Now, I'm just going to go out. These are going to be 100% new. There's nothing that they could have reused on this guy because the legs are super long and everything like that. The feet are not actually the same either. There's everything about these figures, the Sentinels, are completely new. The hands are not reused or anything like that. They are new. So not the Iron Man Model 9 like I had initially thought, and I'm sure others think as well. Xmen. Okay, so there is the Sentinel 2-pack. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this 2-pack. If you can look past the ankles, that is awesome. I think that's the biggest the biggest flaw and criticism that I'll have with these 2-packs. They look really good. It's a cool concept. You know, the arcade, lots of people played it. A lot of fun. A lot of nostalgia factor in there. That's cool. The Rock looks okay. Gotta have it in hand. See, it looks a little cheap. A wash would have gone a long way. Something in the sculpt just looks a little soft too. Just not real sharp, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a cool 2-pack. Unfortunately, it sold out really, really fast. There was a limit of 5, so it's an army builder. People have bought multiple packs. I only needed the one, so I got the one. Did it need to be a 2-pack? That's going to be debatable, right? They put the big rock. They could have put that big rock with one single Sentinel. Cost could have been a little bit higher, maybe. But we got the 2-pack. The Outriders are in a 2-pack. I don't know what the story is with giving us 2-packs like that on the army builders. Maybe it's because people are going to buy more than one anyway, so why not give them a 2-pack? That could work in theory. I'm not sure. I know people with, like, on the Outriders are like, why wouldn't you just do it single pack? And the Sentinels, I didn't see that comment as much. So it might just be one of those, we don't like the price, so it should have only been one. I mean, I don't know. You guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below. The prices are the prices. They're a little bit higher. I think this one was $54.99, so a little bit higher. The Outriders were $60, a little bit higher. It's just one of those things, like, unfortunately, the figures are getting better. I think we can all kind of agree there. Whereas Marvel Legends, for a long time, they seemed complacent, right? Nothing was really new coming out. But now, the 85th anniversary, lots of really good figures coming out and things like that. So hopefully, a steady incline in the quality of the figures that we're getting. But I also think they are producing less because we're seeing less and less in stores. There are more 2-packs. There are more exclusives, whether fan channel or particular to stores. It's just one of those things. But in my opinion, quality is getting better. Yes, it's just not on the ankles on these Sentinels. But anyway, that's my review. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.